It's about time you tune in. M-A-N-U-P. We speak life for reality. Our thoughts are not fiction. No one gets an opinion on the topics that we mention with the Holy Ghost boldness. God's in control of this. Real talk with real men for purpose and focus. Growth to get better. See, man up, we better. To change for the better. The future getting better. True men of God, leading, going hard. It's time to level up with the Man Up Squad. Now, man up. You got this. M-A-N-U-P. Man up. Now, man up. M-A-N-U-P. Now, man up.
Thanks so much for joining. This is Man Up. I'm Elder Juan Beverly, and I'm substituting for Man Up's regular host, Pastor Tony Smith. This is a special Father's Day edition of Man Up, and I want to welcome all of our panel guests today and their children as well. So, hello, everyone. All right. Glad to have you here with us, and we're so glad that you've joined us. And because this is a special Father's Day show, I want to get right into it and ask the kids some questions. All right, how about that? So let's start maybe with Mr. Anthony over there. Anthony, can you tell us, what is it that you like the most about your dad?
What I like most about my dad is he's funny and he's hilarious basically, and we play football and we both like football.
I like that. And you speak the truth. That's why I started with the little kids, because the kids tell the truth. The kids gonna tell the truth. Chris, what about you?
I think my favorite part about my father is that he's probably like one of the most consistent people in my life, and he's very considerate. He's willing to make the sacrifices for you even when it kind of hurts him, because he's willing to make you feel good to hurt himself.
Wow. That was happy. All right, I like it. And what would you say?
My dad is nice.
Your dad is nice? Is he nice all the time?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Told you, we're going to tell the truth today, y'all. Well, when he is nice sometimes, what are some of the fun things you like to do with your dad when he's nice?
Go to the barber shop.
Okay, get that fresh cut, huh? Loves it. Beautiful. Anthony, what about you? What do you like to do? Some fun things with your dad.
Play his Xbox One together.
Xbox. Is there a favorite game?
Mine is Halo 5.
Halo 5. So let me guess, you must be really good at it, huh?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you usually beat your dad?
We don't get to play together because it sometimes doesn't work.
Oh, have something to say, MIT here, Derek?
You always pick the game that is a one player. So I'm sitting on the couch watching you play, which is smart about you, but talking about it don't work.
One player game. Okay. So, Dad, you're going to have to learn some things. That's what that's saying. Either that or I don't want to be beat today. All right. Well, Chris, what can you share? What are some fun things that you like to do with your dad?
I think some of the fun things I do with my dad is we like to watch UFC on Saturday nights. And the funny part about it is that the main event doesn't start until like 12 a.m. and I'm on the couch falling asleep by the time the main fight comes on. So that's fun. And we also go to the movies a lot. We like action movies like Marvel and stuff like that. So yeah.
Ooh, all right. Next time y'all go to UFC or have a movie night, invite me over. I'm there for it. I love it. I like it. Speaking of Marvel, now I'm a big Marvel fan too. If your dad could be a superhero, what superhero would he be? I'm going to start.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. A friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Why would you say Spider-Man? What makes...
Because Daddy's favorite color is red.
Awesome. And Spider-Man wears red. I like it. Okay. All right. Chris, what would you say?
I think my father would be Captain America, because Captain America is kind of that leader that takes charge and makes the best decision for the greater good. And also, there's this line that he says in like all his movies. He says, "I could do this all day," and it's like when he's in the middle of being beat up by a villain. So I feel like that's definitely my father, always persistent in whatever he does.
I can do this all day. We'll call him quick. Quick to get me. I love it. I love it. All right, Anthony, what would you say is your the most how would you describe your dad as a superhero? What superhero would he be?
He'll be Black Panther because he's wearing all black today, and he's strong.
Like it. Okay. All right. All right. I love it. I love it. I love all these answers. And the Black Panther, the things about superheroes, they really make us feel safe, right? You know, we can see them and how they make everything better. So let me ask, do your fathers make you all feel safe? This is open to everybody.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
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 Awesome. Well, I applaud all of you fathers. Praise God. Praise God. You didn't get any of the responses like safe around my dad. Well, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. So we know that our dads make us feel safe. That our dads are special people. And what would you say? And I'm going to turn the attention over to my right side here. Because you're a little older, you have more memories, right? More memories. But what is the most favorite memory that you have about you and your dad?
I'll go.
Okay, Monique.
I think, okay, so for my birthday, my first birthday in California when I was in college, they came and surprised me at school. And I don't really remember where we were going, but we were walking down the street. And for people who haven't been to California, there's like just art all over. So like Hollywood Boulevard, where the stars are, people play instruments, people sing, people dance, all that. So this guy was playing the drums and he just bust out dancing. So everybody's just looking. And then I just jumped in and bust out dancing too. And then they was just like, and my sister was recording. But I feel like that's my favorite memory because that's like our relationship wrapped up in the bow. Like I just kind of go with the flow. Like we both just joke and laugh and have a good time. And I'm not embarrassed and I don't care. And whatever he do, I'm a double back. So that's just what it is. So I feel like that's my favorite memory.
Would you say he's any good at dancing?
Yeah. He took a couple lessons, you know.
Now, I'm going to ask this, and I'm going to get to Dauntre here. Your dad, it would take a lot for your dad to be embarrassed. It really would. It wouldn't take a lot for him to embarrass someone else. But is there anything that you can say or think of that might make you feel embarrassed around your dad? Or anything that would embarrass him?
No. I feel like I know what I'm working with, so I just feel like I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm like, I kind of told y'all ahead of time, you ain't believe me, this is what it is. Like, you see now why I act the way I act, because, you know.
You got it honest.
Right.
Okay. All right, I'll take that. I like that. Dauntre, what about you? What are some of your favorite either memories or the most favorite memory that you have about you and your dad?
I got a couple of them, but I'm only thinking of one right now. Probably when he let me drive his first Benz. I used to drive him to school. Used to think I was the man. So, and then like years later, he bought me my actual first car. He showed me the car. He said, "What you think about it?" And then like 2 days later, we went down my grandmother's house, and boom, the car was there. It was probably like, it was a humble moment for real.
Wow. And all made possible by your dad, huh? Did that, can you go into a little bit more about what that meant to you? Not just the gift, but what did your dad mean to you at that moment when you saw that car and we gave you the keys?
At that moment, the man of his word, and basically that Shorty the one. That's my guy. He gonna always be there for me whenever I ask. And most of the time, I don't really ask him for anything because I feel like he told me that I can get it on my own.
Awesome. Awesome. I like to hear that. I like to hear that. So we've heard about how the dads have given into their children's lives and make them happy, make them smile. They're superheroes. How do you feel that, or what would you say is the best thing for you to do as children to be a child to your dad, if that makes sense? You know, you have the relationship of what your dad does for you, but what do you do for your dad?
I
Yes,
think
okay.
that as the child, you want to make the load as easy, like as light as possible. Because, like I said earlier, dads make a lot of sacrifices, and they think about everyone else. But once in a while, as a child, you have to think about the load he's carrying, him being the superhero, and think about how you can help him.
Awesome.
Okay. I think I agree with that, and I think for me personally, being as independent as possible helps his pockets. I think it allows him to see that his labor wasn't in vain. Like everything that he taught me or showed me, just lifestyle wise, decision making wise, financially, that I held on to it and I use it and I help others with it. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So dads are out here teaching. You guys are teaching and training. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Can you share maybe, and I'll toss it right back to you since you brought it up. What's one good piece of advice that your dad shared with you that you can share with us today? I know it's so many. You gotta go through the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll go on that. So one piece of good advice that my dad gave me since I graduated college, stay true to yourself. You don't do things that you didn't used to do. Like I know for me, I would like to hang with my family and stuff like that, but sometimes I can't be in that environment because for the better of me.
That's good. That's good. Guidance. Guidance. And I'm gonna ask you guys too. You don't get out of it. You know? Can you tell us one good thing that your dad has one good piece of advice that your dad has given you?
One piece of advice. Every time when I clean my room, he says, if you do it right the first time, you won't have to do it again.
Now that's good. That's
He does it with all my chores.
One piece of advice that my dad says all the time, it may not be advice, but just like a saying, he says, always stay comfortable in your own skin. And I think that he definitely wants me and all the rest of my siblings just to be true to ourselves, like Don Trey said, and just be comfortable because you have to live inside of you, so you have to be okay with living with that.
excellent. Excellent. Anybody else?
I got mine.
You got one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So he just will tell me about, a lot of people like plan for the goal, but they don't plan to maintain the goal. So I feel like that was his advice to me that I could give to someone else. Like, don't just set a goal and plan how you're going to get there, but also plan and prepare yourself for how to maintain it once you achieve it.
That's good. That's good because you don't want it slipping through your hands. You can say you attained it, but if it's not there tomorrow, what was the point? That's good. That's awesome. I applaud you guys. Excellent, excellent. And since we're in the, you guys are a part of Victorious Ministries. I'd like your children to share with us. I guess, and I'll start maybe with Don Trey. What's your dad's role in the church? And then how do you see that as being important for those not just in the church, but even outside of the church?
Okay, so my dad, he's a minister. Um, Everybody can look at him as kind of like a prayer warrior. 'Cause like that's just how he is. He's a real good influencer on your life.
Great, thanks, Monique.
Okay. Well, this is Pastor Marcus, if y'all didn't know. I probably don't know all of his roles in the church, but the main ones or the most current ones, I know he runs the music ministry, right? Yep. He leads praise and worship, the band, oversees quiet things of that nature. I think that how it influences the church and outside, right? Okay. I think that a great influence because I feel like he is at the forefront of getting service started. So him being in line and in line with God, in line with PTS and everyone here helps to set the atmosphere and shift the atmosphere for service. So he's a big part of breaking down the barrier for God to come in. I also think that as far as reaching the outside, arts is an easy way to reach people. So sometimes using his gift can draw people in from the outside.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys sharing that. You fathers have done and are doing outstanding jobs, as is evidenced by your children. And kids don't lie; they go tell the truth. So hats off. I applaud you as well. But I want to talk and turn the attention to the fathers right now. We have seen and heard from the mouths of babes the wonderful things that these men of God are doing in and for their children. But Minister Matt, if I can start with you and ask, what does being a father actually mean to you?
Or number one, it means that I've been blessed to be given the opportunity to create life and to raise a human being. So God has entrusted me or given me a specific purpose, at least for that part of my life, to plant seed, to be able to give birth, to be a part of giving birth to children, and to raise them to be what He called them to be. So.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And I'm going to go back over here to the right side now. Anthony, if I can ask you that same question, what does it mean to you to be a father?
Well, to be a father to me means showing responsibility to a younger generation. It's like being a model, somebody that they can see and that they can learn from. And it's an honor. It's a pleasantry. Yeah, I love it.
Wow, you said something powerful there. It's an honor and a pleasantry, and not all men have said that, or even saying it today. So kids, when you hear your dad say something like that, it truly is a blessing to have a man of God like that in your lives. Thank you for that. MIT Derek, and this is the same question for everybody, so y'all can get your answers together. But I'm going to ask you, MIT Derek, what does being a father actually mean to you?
I would say it's being burdened with great purpose, because once your child is born, you're no longer living for yourself. You're living for them, and you're thinking about how to better their lives. Most of us have grown up hard back in the day, so I know that pretty much everybody up here, every father up here has said at one point or another, I want my son or my daughter to have a better life than I did. So that's the purpose of being a father to me.
Good stuff. Pastor.
I would say that one of the responsibilities as a father that I kind of take on is one that it's an opportunity to change the future by taking what I currently have, sharing it with my children, but also affecting the future by what principles and values they have and the change and the impact that they can have in the earth as their time comes throughout their lifetime.
Changing and impacting them for tomorrow. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I'll take Chris.
I also consider it a privilege. A lot of times when kids do stuff and I don't quite understand, and I be talking to God, I like, well, you gave them to me, so I know you basically are going to show me what to do. And I think I'm really into it because I'm adopted. So it's like when I had never, when Chris Gray came, she was like the first connection because I've never met anybody. So she was like the first connection to see like to anybody, like blood. So I relish it. I really appreciate it. And I don't really take it for granted. It's very high on the list of like what I think is important. So yeah.
Beautiful. You bring up something here. You mentioned you were adopted, which means somebody made room for you, and you're doing that same thing to ensure that your children feel that room has been made for them, that they're important, that they're needed, that they're special. That's awesome. So it's not a bad thing to be adopted, especially when Christ has adopted each and every one of us. He made room. He made preparation for us to be in the family. Beautiful. Thanks so much for that. Minister Rock, same question for you. What does being a father mean to you?
All right. So, well, first I'm going to say what Anthony said is an honor and a pleasantry, so you can hear it twice. No, but when I think of fatherhood, I think of decreasing myself, and like Derek said, and increasing value to the one that was born to you or given to you in life, and it's something different. Is different with a daughter, and it's different with a son. So it's just two different kind of the fatherhood process is the same, but it's two different fights that you're doing when you have a daughter and when you have a son, because you want your son to grow up, one to be better than you, and you want your daughter to understand that, when there's a man involved, the man better come and be better than the dad. With my son, I'm coming. It's just, you want to. Derek said it all. You want to allow them to have way better than you, and then do better than you. So I want my son to be better than me, have way more than me, in life, so that the family that he brings along, he know where he gets it from.
Okay. Let me follow up on that, since you brought up the point about the difference between having a son and a daughter. For the men on the panel here that do have daughters and sons, how has that changed you individually? Not necessarily when it comes to discipline, but just in your approach to your children. How has having both sexes changed you or affected you?
Well, I don't know. Can't relate. I'll say for the daughter part, the approach is a little bit more softer. It's a little bit more softer because, like you said, the hero, you want them to look at you as the hero, but the approach to your daughter is a little bit more softer than it would be to my son. So let's say my daughter gets into something, it's more detailed explaining whatever the situation may be. I see you smiling because you know what I'm talking about, right? Detailed explaining, but then when you get to your son, it's more of a explanation, but as a hardcore touch, because it's rougher for sons to fall into a more serious problem, because men most time pay a more dear penalty than a woman does. You know what I'm saying? So you raise your daughter child to grow up to be independent on their own, so they don't have to depend on no man. And then you raise your son to be also dependent upon himself. So in case this woman trips on him, he knows how to wash clothes. He knows how to, pay his own bills, do his own things all by himself. So it would make a woman want to desire them later on down the line. So he'd be the caretaker of the woman versus she taking care of him.
Yeah, he's got to be in a position to cover and know how to cover. And he can't do that if he can't cover his own self. Right. Excellent. I saw you shaking your head earlier too, Mr. Chris.
I was just gonna say that makes you have to stay light on your feet because you can't respond to one as you would the other. So it makes you, I was gonna say, be creative. It makes you call on God, and it's crazy. I'll tell you real quick. When Chris Gray came, I was like this love, like admire, and then when Christoph came, I had this pride so it's like two different types of affection, two different types of love, daughter and son. So yeah, it's different.
That's true. That's true. And I think children soften your heart to start with, but a daughter does something even more. And then even with disciplining, you ain't going to tag your daughter in the chest.
You're right.
Your son,
You're right.
you can
You're
tag
right.
him all day,
You're
but
right.
there's a difference, and so it's good. So it's important to know the difference there. What in that? Because you gonna go to jail. What do you want to see the most for your child's life? What do you want to happen the most for them?
In my child's life, what I want most to see is to have a relationship with God and development of character, independence, and just to be sure that she's gonna be okay. She's straight, and then that's it.
Yeah. Well, when she's got examples like you, it certainly makes it easy, and knowing that will come to pass, that's going to be there. Mr. Matt, what do you want the most?
Definitely relationship with God. But I think, as they are still living with us, I want them to live a life with no lack. I never want them to feel like they need anything that myself, my wife can't provide. Growing up in an environment where you don't get to just get whatever you need all the time and can't get what you really desire. I never want them to have lack. And when they get older, I want them to have the freedom to decide what they want to do with their future and not feel forced to, I got to go to college, I got to go get a job, but they have the option to, you know what? I can start a business. I can do this. I can do that. I want them to have that freedom and not feel captive to have to go one route or the other.
Awesome. Give them opportunities. Praise God.
I think I would say I would want them to stand on my wife and I's shoulders and not start from the ground. You don't have to start from the ground when there's already shoulders to stand on. But if you make a decision that you want to get it out the mud, then that will be your decision, not because you had to.
Wow. Man, I need to be taking notes. I love it. And we've got such great accomplishments in our children that are on the stage today, and I know you guys are proud of what they've done. College graduates over here, and we've even got business owners over here on this side. All right, but if I could ask the dads here now, aside from that, and maybe including that, what makes you proud about your children? Minister Derek.
I guess what makes me proud about all my children are their individuality, their drive, their desire to separate themselves from each other. Because when you have two or more kids, there can be some instance where one is starting to look like the other. Like they're living around each other, so they get the same habits and stuff like that. And I can honestly say that all three of my boys are different. So I like the fact that they are becoming their own men in certain ways, and that they are a joy to be around most days.
Very honest.
So the kids telling the truth, and so are the dads. But there are going to be those ups and downs, and I think that's what helps all of us grow. You know, not just as individuals, but then ultimately as a family, as a unit. It helps us grow. I think here too at this point, I'm going to ask each of you just very quickly to share one thing that would that you would use to encourage the fathers watching. Or just one of you.
I would say that your children need you.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that you can do is be present. Your presence with a C is always going to be greater than your presence with a T. And so you being in place and being in their life means far more than a toy or a gift that you can give them. And for those of you who the relationship didn't work out, just because you broke up with the mother doesn't mean you have to break up with the child.
So good.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. We want to thank all of the guests here, the Man Up members here, their children. We want to thank each and every one of you for joining and watching this special Father's Day edition of Man Up, and we hope to see you again. But we also want to say happy Father's Day to the shepherd of this house, Pastor Tony Smith. God bless you. Happy Father's Day to you and to all of the fathers watching. God bless.